Today we're going to look at a bunch of 80s vinyl. So I'm going through my collection lately, just seeing if any prices have spiked. So starting off with Go West, I think this was self-titled. Starts off with We Close Our Eyes, big song. You don't really see it with the Dolby very often, so I grabbed it. It's got some stuff inside it. It's kind of like that mid-80s sort of, you know, blue-eyed soul, new wave. You might even say new romantic. Tears for Fears, you know, similar look and sound. Yeah, funnily enough, it's a $15 record, like even with the Obi, so it's not that rare. Next up we got the Cutting Crew. Got a single for it too. Yeah, this one was 87 it came out. It's classed as electronic rock. You know, if they're in good condition, you're looking at a $30 record, median price. I think this was their first album. Looks like the overseas release, not the Japanese one. Yeah, they're actually from England. They started in 85, so they put out their first album in 86, broadcast. The next up is the Flock of Seagulls Iran album. So I was kind of curious if the price had jumped, you know, because there's a bit of a fuel crisis at the moment and people are mentioning this song. But yeah, on looking it up, it actually came with an Obi. It's got a yellow Obi with red writing on it. So this is minus that. Sometimes they're hiding inside, but not this time. So it's got the insert, sort of a garish green. And this is actually a song called Modern Love is Automatic, so I might just jump to the big song. Sort of ahead of its time, you know, it's a little bit spacey sounding, you know. Gary Newman was doing the same thing. Australian band, MySex, kind of, you know, using little tricks in the studio. But yeah, if you've got the Dolby with the Japanese copy, you're looking at 50 to 100. But without it, probably it's not a cheap record. Yeah, you're looking at from, you know, 20 to 30, just in this condition. So it's kind of, you know, it's one of those records that have popped up again, you know, just because of the news and stuff like that. So it's sort of, you know, it's good to go through your collection every now and again. You know, things can jump up in price and there's a bit of a demand and it's a good time to sell. Got the single for it too, Iran. Got like a different picture, UFOs and a girl's glasses. And the side B song is Pick Me Up. So Pick Me Up doesn't actually appear on the album. That's sort of interesting. Next up we've got Feargal Sharkey. Got it on song 2, side A. You Little Thief. It's a great album cover, isn't it? You know, this came out in mid-80s, so pretty cool. Big album. You know, I don't think he did much after this though. He kind of had the post-punk roots, and then he kind of went into this, you know, blue-eyed soul, I guess you'd say, or kind of, you know, funky contemporary pop music. And it was really, you know, successful, especially in Australia. So it came out in 1985. I think it was his actual first album. Then he put out Wish in 88 and something in 1991. But yeah, this was pretty much his high point as, you know, a singer. And prices for it, you know, they're never high for some reason. Next up we got Thomas Dolby's big album. It's got She Blinded Me With Science. He's got other hits, but you know, I kind of consider him one of those one-hit wonders that, you know, his whole career is basically built on this one song. Such a great song and film clip. I never really got into all of his other songs. You know, there's one here, Wind Power. But yeah, you know, he's very likable and, you know, he's very, you know, he really pushed the boundaries of what synth artists could do in the 80s, back before, you know, computers were sort of playing a part. Yeah, these are not expensive. Like, there seem to be a lot of them around. Seems to be, it's basically, you know, a $5 to $10 record. I mean, if you got it in really good condition, you could get 20. All right, next up we got Gardening by Moonlight, a little bit more obscure. Album's called Mythos in the Madness. Mythos. Yeah, these guys, you know, a little bit more of a deeper kind of cut from the 80s. Came out in 1983. You see, it's average condition. It's kind of like a gothic band, really. It's sort of very experimental. But this was their first release. I think they were from England and they only put this one album out. Pops up regularly over here. It's sort of, you know, a $15 to $30 record depending on the condition. But yeah, you know, it's kind of in the years before dance music really sort of, you know, changed. So it's kind of very creative music. You kind of got to listen to the whole album to get a feel of it. I'm at the halfway mark. So next up we've got Hart. So, you know, really successful in the 80s and his music's just kind of everywhere, but it's never pricey. Got an Obi strip. The back cover is upside down, a glossy insert. Yeah, 6-piece band. He sort of, I think I've said it before, he recreated himself. Like every couple of years he would do something different. Very creative. This album was 85. You're looking at 15 to 30. You can get it with the Dolby, and you get a lot more for it. But Corey Hart, he put his first thing out in 83, First Offense. Don't see that album around much. And then he was really consistent into the 90s, and then, you know, mid-90s he slowed down. Next up we've got Blancmange, the album Mange 2, I think you say. And it's got a big song on it called Blind Vision. And yeah, sort of average condition. Great artwork. And insert. This band, I think they're English, and the album came out in 1984. It's basically, you know, a $10 to $20 record. They put their first thing out in 82, Happy Families. I've never seen that album around. So this was their second album, and 85 was kind of like their last album for a very long time. Then next up we've got Spandau Ballet. So I was kind of looking forward to checking the prices for this one, because I would have thought it would have jumped in price, but I was disappointed. Got it on side 2. But yeah, it's a very nice looking album. Yeah, average condition. Pipe sticker. So it's got the insert. And it looks like a poster. Actually, no, it's just really wild lyric sheet with all the members of the band on it, but one-sided. It's a bit excessive. I was wondering why the album was so heavy. Pretty much perfect music they made, you know, minus the saxophones. But yeah, this was 86. And yeah, prices are all over the place. You're probably looking at a $20 record. I would have thought this would have been more expensive. Maybe it doesn't have the big hits on it, I guess. So next up we've got Phillip, Oakley, Giorgio, Moroder. So this, I think it was self-titled. Has the song on there, Together in Electric Dreams, so that was from that movie Electric Dreams. I don't think there were any other hits on it, but it's, you know, a real slice of the 80s, what dance music was back then. It's got like a hard papered insert. He was from the Human League. He was really successful. He didn't really need the girls, you know. He kind of, his voice is what made the Human League. He's amazing. And then Giorgio Moroder, you know, the amazing guy. Yeah, looking up this one, prices, you know, you're looking at between probably, you know, 10 and 30. So, yeah, pretty surprised today. I thought prices would be a lot higher for some of these. Next up, we've got Johnny Hates Jazz. This has got the really big song Shattered Dreams on it, 1988. I always think this is earlier. Insert. So this one's a little bit pricier. You're looking at between 25 and 60. So it seems to be a more sought after record. Next up, we've got a couple by Howard Jones. So He was so successful, but his music isn't that collectible. There's a lot of it around, and you know, you can usually pick it up with the Dolby strip. This one, the Dolby strip shrunk, so you would often see the Dolby strip broken. I just keep it off the album. On the back of the Dolby, it's got In Excess, Yazoo, Echo and the Bunnymen, I think Depeche Mode maybe. Humans Lib, this album, pretty good condition. Insert, you know, a little bit of rust on it. You've got the big songs, What Is Love and New Song. Yeah, these ones seem to be like a, you know, $15 to $40 record depending on the condition. So then he put out this album, Dream Into Action. It's got the Dolby. Bands on the back of the Dolby seem to be just him being advertised, plus videos. Yeah, it's good condition. Insert. Glossy. Yeah, after this he put out the album 1 to 1, and I think that was the end of, you know, his success. So, you know, he's still going today, but he pretty much is, you know, just touring on these first 2 albums worth of songs. Like, that's what everybody wants to hear. Yeah, great musician, great hair. Last album is the Korgis, Dumb Waiters. This one came with a Dolby strip that was advertising a Japanese camera. If you've got that Dolby, you're looking at, you know, $30 to $50. It's quite collectible, but probably, you know, without it, you're looking at 15, 20. But yeah, they're pretty much a one-hit wonder. I mean, this is the big song. It's one of those amazing ballads that pops up in movies all the time. It reminds me a lot of 10cc, I'm Not in Love, and you know, those kind of songs, very ambient. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.